Okay, so we were seeing about numerical methods, and yesterday we have finished till Newton-Raphson method, and one more thing we learned about intermediate mean value property, and based on that property, we have tried two questions. Yes or no? Right. Now, let us see another methods of linear and non-linear equations. Those are bisection, regular falsi, and second method. Okay. So let us see first bisection method. Okay. Now see. First, let me give you steps of bisection method. Then I will show you its problems. I think where is Chandrasekhar? Oh, sorry, Chandrasekhar is here. Where is Roshan now? Maybe he is having some net issues. Okay, no issue. Let us don't waste this time and let us start. So first, note down these steps. See over here. So your first step is you have to identify one interval. Here, let f of x is equal to 0. This is your linear or nonlinear equation, is having opposite signs in closed interval a to b. Okay. Say f of a is less than 0 and f of b is greater than 0. Okay, so this is our first step. Okay, so say here f of a is less than 0 and f of b is greater than 0. Now next, let x1 is approximation root, or approximation x1 is approximation root in interval a to b, and here your x1 is a plus b by 2. Your first approximation is its bisection, right? This is your meaning of bisection. So bisection means you are going to bisect this interval. So x1 is a plus b by 2. Now based on this x1, if you want to find x2, you are having three different possibilities. Let me show you those possibilities. Okay, now see over here. So based on this x1, now you can find all these different possibilities. Okay, it all depends on your value of x1. Okay, suppose if f of x1 equal to 0, then x1 is your root, right? That means you have to stop there. Okay, so if f of x1 equal to 0, your first case is, it all depends on your value of f of x1. Okay, so if your f of x1 equal to 0, you have to stop over here. If your f of x1 is greater than 0, then your next root will lie in the interval a to a comma x1. Okay, and if your f of x1 is less than 0, then your next root will lie in the interval x1 comma b. Then here your new x2 will be a plus x1 by 2. Here your new x2 will be x1 plus b by 2. And you have to repeat the same procedure. Okay. We'll repeat this chart once again. Give me 1 minute. Let me finish this chart. Ha. See. So here you can see this bisection process, right? Okay, I'm repeating this bisection process once again. Understand this process carefully. Okay, and here the thing is, your f of x is equal to 0 is your linear or non-linear equation. It is having opposite sign between a to b, right? That we have seen yesterday only. That suppose f of a is less than 0, f of b is greater than 0. So first I'm taking one interval, like this interval is from a to b. At f of a, my function is negative, and f of b, my function is positive. So between a to b, definitely my root will lie between a to b or not. Okay. Now I have to find approximate value of that root. Right. So for that, first, according to this method, this is bisection. Right. This is our interval a to b. So my first step will be to bisect this interval. So first I'll bisect this interval a plus b. Now at this bisected point, I will try to find value of f. Right. If at this bisected point my f is 0, that means this is only my root. My function is passing through this only. Right. Now, if at this bisected point my function is less than 0, so see over here, this is a, this is b. At bisected point my function is less than 0. Here it is also less than 0. Here this is at bisected point also it is less than 0. Then now my root will lie between this bisected point and b or not, because at bisected point it is less than 0, right? And at b it is positive. So if here it is negative, then my next root will lie between x1 to b. Is it clear now? In the same way, suppose here my function is positive, right? So now here my function is positive, so its graph will be like this. So here if your function is positive, then your root will lie between a to x1, between a to x1, right? So your next interval will be a to x1. And once you got the interval, same method you have to apply once again. Initially we were having this interval. What is our method? We have to bisect. So x1 is a plus b by 2. So here x2 is x1 plus b by 2, x2 is a plus x1 by 2. And After getting bisection point, we will continue this process. Is it clear now? You got the method or not? Right. Just type in chat box. Is it clear? Shall we see example? Okay. Okay. Yes. Chalo, great. So let us see example based on it. So your first problem or first example, see over here. Find x2 and x3 by using bisection method. Will increase speed little bit because to finish this portion in time, x cube minus 4x minus 9 equal to 0. Okay. Your initial interval is 2 to 3. Right. Now. So let us start this. So here, if f of x is x cube minus 4x minus 9, what is our first condition? If this is a to b, then first we have to find f of a and f of b. So here my f of a is equal to f of 2 is equal to 2 cube minus 4 into 2 minus 9. 2 cube is 8 minus 8 0. It is minus 9 less than 0. F of b is f of 3, which is 3 cube minus 4 into 3 minus 9. 12 and 9 21 or not? And 3 cube is 27. 27 minus 21 is 6, which is positive. So if this is positive, right, see over here, this is a, this is b, here my function is negative, here my function is positive. So definitely root will lie between a to b. Okay. Now here, so our first approximation will be x1 from bisection method. It is a plus b by 2. So it is 2 plus 3 by 2. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 by 2 is 2.5. Now let us try to find f of 2.5. Right. So this is our bisected point. So now f of x1 is equal to f of 2.5 is equal to 2.5 whole cube minus 4 into 2.5 minus 9. So this you can find from Kelsey. You will get minus 3.375, which is negative, which is less than 0. So if this is negative, then what will be our next interval? Our interval will be only from negative to positive. So our next interval will be x1 to b or not? Right? Because we cannot take a to x1, isn't it? Because here both the values are negative. So our next interval will be from x1 to b, implies x1 is minus 3.375 and b is our 3. Oh, sorry, x1 is 2.5. This is f of x1, students, right? This is x1, 2.5. So it is 2.5 to 3 now. Now let us try to find x2, because in the question they are asking x2 and x3. So here our x2 will be 2.5 plus 3 divided by 2. Just I have to bisect this. So 3 plus 2 is 5.5 by 2 or not? 5 by 2 is 2.5 and it is 2.75 or not? Okay. So this is our new bisected point x2, 2.75. Now just we have to determine that x3 will be on left side or right side. So again, first I have to find f of x2. So it is f of 2.75, which is equal to 2.75 whole cube minus 4 times 2.75 minus 9. I hope you all have downloaded Gate Virtual Calculator. So it is 0.7969, which is positive. Okay. So if it is positive at x2, it is positive. So our next interval will be what? x1 to x2 or x2 to xb? x1 to x2 or not? Right? From negative to positive. So our next interval will be x1 to x2, where x1 is 2.5, x2 is 2.75. So x3 will be 2.5 plus 2.75 by 2. So 2.5 plus 2.75 by 2, it is 2.625. Is it clear now? Please give me some response. 2.625. No need to find f of x3 because they are asking till x2 and x3 only. Okay. Okay. So let us see one more question. Okay. So it is very easy method, right? Bisection method. It is very easy. You can expect all similar questions. Okay. Now, let me give you one question which was asked in one of your IIT interviews. That let A and B are two players. Assume that player A select an integer from 1 to 1024. Okay. Player A is selecting any integer from 1 to 1024. Then at most, what is the meaning of at most, students? Maximum or minimum? Then at most, how many guesses B can take? How many guesses B can take to guess the number using optimal strategy? Okay, solution. So optimal means, if you have studied operation research, you know this optimal, meaning of this optimal, right? So optimal means with minimum effort, you have to take maximum output. Okay. So A and B are two players over here. Player A is selecting any integer from 1 to 1024. Then at most means maximum. How many? This is, sorry, this is wrong spelling of guess. Okay. Yes. How many guesses B can take to guess the number using optimal strategy? Okay. So let us start solving this question. Chalo, now you know this bisection method. Okay. You can ask one thing. B have to assume that भाई A ने कौन सा number assume किया है वो B को ढूंढना है, right? A has already assumed one number and B has to ask A that A, tell me your number is this or not, your number is this or not, right? B is going to ask only this question. Okay. So here B is going to ask question to A. Now let us use bisection method over here. Our integers are between 1 to 1024. Now see over here. So B is going to ask questions to A, how much or or in which manner. See over here. So question number 1. B will ask A, what is bisection of 1 and 1024? 512 or not? Okay. So B will ask that A, tell me, is your number greater than 512 or not? Right. Even B can ask less than as well. Right. Now A will answer either yes, either no. If A will answer yes, then B will ask from this interval. If he will tell no, then B will ask from this interval. Are you getting my point? Right. So on both the cases, yes or no, B will have two intervals, either from 1 to 512 or 512 to 1024. Suppose A is telling no, right? In both the cases, we are having same. So what will be his second question? That is your number, what is bisection over here? 256 or not? Greater than 256? Again, based on his answer, yes or no, B will have two options, either this interval or this. Okay. Suppose he is again telling no. Now his question 3 will be, your number is greater than 128 or not? Okay. So again, based on this answer, B will have two intervals. So in the same way, B will have two intervals each and every time We have to find maximum questions. So this can be 64, 32, 16, 8, isn't it? Just we are going to bisect it at each and every step. 4, 2, and divide by 2 is 1. Right? If it is not greater than 2, if it is no, that means it is equal to 1 only. Right? And here we should answer yes, because all the above questions are no. So how many maximum questions he can ask? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. So here maximum questions B can ask is 10. So in 10 questions, he can get the number assumed by A. And what is the minimum question he can ask? One question. Suppose B is guessing directly that tell me A, your number is 1 or not. And if he will tell yes, so yes, this all depends on probability. So at least one question and at most 10 questions. Is it clear now? Yes, no, everything is clear or not? Okay. At each and every case, he will have two options. Both the options were same. So I have just taken only one option. Is it clear now? Shall we move to next question? Okay, great. Right. Now, from these methods, we are going to see one question only, because these methods, all the questions of these methods are only repetitive. Okay. And there is one more thing for bisection method. Let me give you that. Note. So in bisection method, if the length of the interval or closed interval AB is B minus A, then after how many number of iterations the length of the interval becomes epsilon. Right. Suppose this type of questions are being asked in the question. See over here in bisection method. Length of interval is B minus A. Then after how many iterations this length will become epsilon. See over here. If we analyze the relation between iteration number and length of iteration, so see over here. After iteration number and length of interval. Now see over here. The length will be the question is, after number of intervals, the length of the interval becomes epsilon. See over here. So suppose I am taking first interval. So after first iteration, its length will become B minus A by 2 or not? Okay, because it will be bisected. After second interval, it will be again bisected, B minus A by 2 square. Okay. After third interval, it will be B minus A by 2 cube. In the same way, if I go in this manner only, so after nth interval, this will be your B minus A by 2 to the power n. Is it clear now? B minus A by 2 to the power n. Now, let B minus A by 2 to the power n equal to epsilon, because they are asking us that after how many iterations this length will become epsilon. Suppose this is your epsilon and after n interval it is becoming like this. So 2 to the power n will be equal to B minus A by epsilon or not? Okay. So your n will be log base 2 B minus A divided by epsilon. So this is your formula between number of intervals and or number of iteration and length of the interval. Right. So number of iteration and length of the interval. This is your formula. So based on this also you can expect question, but very little. But yes, they may come. Okay. So do remember this formula. Question में ऐसा भी हो सकता है एग्जाम में आपको ऐसा पूछे, if they are giving you B, A and epsilon, right, and they are asking you to find value of n, so you can find value of n. This type of question can come in exam. Is it clear now? So we are concluding bisection method over here. Okay, clear with this? So let us continue new method, that is regular falsi method. Any doubt till here?
सर वो log base 2 है ना, कि
हाँ, log
multiply by
base
2.
2. हाँ हाँ हाँ, उसकी this is log base 2 and you can find its value from your gate calc. Okay, gate virtual calculator. Okay, sure. So let us start new method, that is regular falsi method. See over here. So if bisection method is clear to you, then regular falsi will also become clear. Regular falsi method. This is called your RF method. Let me give you its steps. Step number 1. Same condition, f of x should be 0 and it should have opposite sign in interval a to b, but here we will tell interval at like x0 to x1. Okay, so let f of x is equal to 0 and it is having opposite signs in close interval x0 to x1. Say f of x0 is less than 0 and f of x1 is greater than 0. Okay, so f of x0 is less than 0 and f of x1 is greater than 0. Second thing, let x2 is approximation to root in that interval. Right. So earlier we were taking approximation x1 from a to b. Now from x0 to x1 I am taking one approximation x2. Now see over here how we can find this x2. Okay. So here x2, we can find this x2 as f1 x0 minus f0 x1 divided by f1 minus f0. Now based on this value, again we will be having 3 cases. Right? Like earlier we were having 3 cases. The same way we will have 3 cases over here. now. So again, these three cases will become depends on f of x2. So suppose here first your f of x2 is 0. So if f of x2 equal to 0, then you have to stop. Okay, this is your answer. Even here also I forgot to tell you, if f of x1 equal to 0, then you have to stop. Okay, sure. So suppose f of x2 equal to 0, sorry, f of x2 equal to 0, that means you have to stop. No need to go forward. Now, suppose f of x2 is less than 0 or greater than 0, f of x2 is less than 0 or f of x2 is greater than 0. So what will be next interval now? Right, अब हमें interval बनाना तो आ गया है. See, from 0 to C over here. This is our original interval, x0 and x1. Right, x2 lies in between over here. In bisection method, it was exactly in between. But in regular falsy, it may be somewhere. Okay, so now if x0 is negative, if x1 is positive, now tell me, if x2 is negative, then which interval we will take? If x2 is negative, we will take x2 to x1 or not? Isn't it? Because we have to go from negative to positive or not? Students, please give me some response. We have to go from negative to positive or not? Okay, so if f of x2 is negative, we have to take our next interval is, so here our next interval will be x2 to x1, right? So our next interval will be x2 to x1. And if next interval is x2 to x1, how we can find x3 there? Same method. The method we have applied for x2 over here. It was f1 x0 minus f0 x1 divided by f1 minus f0. So it will be your f1 x2 minus f2 x1 divided by x2 minus x1. Oh, sorry, f1 minus f2. Right. Earlier it was f1 minus f0. Okay, so it should be f2 minus f1. Yes, but yes, it is between f of x2 is less than 0. Yes, so between x2 to x1. Yes, f1 minus f2. Okay, I will give you a shortcut to remember this as well. Right, but first see over here. Now suppose f of x2 is positive. So suppose f of x2 is positive. This f of x2 is positive. This is negative. So we'll go to this interval or not, from negative to positive. So our root will lie between x0 to x1. Same condition that we have seen for bisection method. So now our x3 will be between x0 to x1. So it is f1 x0 minus f0, not x0 to x1, x0 to x2. Okay, so it is f2 x0, okay, minus f0 x2 divided by f2 minus f0 or not. Okay, now let me give you a shortcut to remember this formula. Is it clear now? क्या पहले इतना clear हुआ? Or first let me give you a shortcut, then you can ask your doubts. Wait. So where were we now? Okay, so here you have to repeat your process, and here this is this. Okay, so now see over here. How you can remember this, right? So for that, just first take this. Okay, so here we are having x naught, x1. For between x naught and x1, right, first here we are having f naught and f1. Let me write here only. Now you all know how to find 2 by 2 determinant, right? So just find this 2 by 2 determinant. So this will be x naught f1 minus f naught x1, and between its denominator, sorry, below its denominator, take this difference of f1 minus f naught, right? Last minus first. See, this is your x2 or not? f1 x naught minus f naught x1 by f1 minus f naught. x naught f1 minus f naught x1 divided by f1 minus f naught is equal to your x2. Is it clear now? Please give me some response. Is it clear first? Okay. Now based on this x2 or value of this x2, now we are having two options. That, okay, see over here. So to remember this, Roshan will take this x0, x1, f0, f1 as 2 by 2 determinant, right? If this is your 2 by 2 determinant, see over here, how we can solve this 2 by 2 determinant? A into D, right? This principal diagonal elements, product of principal diagonal elements minus product of